Good morning. Oh, I'm always happy on a Monday morning because I can come and see you all, and thank you for being here. Today we're going to talk about, and I'm an animal channel, and we always know how wonderful animals are and how many times they save the day. And this is one of those typical stories from ancient Rome. And the name of it is the Sacred Geese of Rome. Okay, the picture a warm summer night of 390 BCE draped itself over Rome's 7 hills like a thick wool cloak. The city lay in an uneasy slumber, its walls manned by a skeleton crew of guards. Most of the Rome's army had been devastated months earlier at the Battle of Alea, where the Gallic tribes led by Brennus had crushed the Roman forces. Now, surviving Romans had retreated to their stronghold, the Capitol Hill. There we go, the Capitol Hill. Now, the sacred geese of Juno's temple, which you're looking at, waddled through their enclosure atop the hill, pecking absently at scattered grain. In these times of siege and starvation, some had suggested eating the birds, but the priests had adamantly refused. These were Juno's birds, sacred to the queen of the gods herself. Oh boy, what a god, eh? And to harm them would surely bring divine wrath. She's sitting there on a throne saying, "You ain't going to eat these geese. I don't care how hungry you are." Okay, Marcus Manilius Capitolinus, the commander of the garrison, had finally drifted into an exhausted sleep after hours of vigilance. What he was trying to do is, obviously the conquerors or the folks that destroyed him in battle were now ready to take over the city. So he had just, worked to try to make sure it didn't happen. And now he was asleep. The night watch was thin. They didn't have a lot of people left. Too thin. Months of siege had worn down the defenders, and hunger gnawed at their bellies. The steep cliffs of Capitoline were their best defense. But in the night, there's what they're thinking is a hill that is going to protect them from the Gauls. Well, not everything you plan comes to pass. But on this night, the Gauls had found a way. They led their most nimble warriors. They had discovered a narrow path up the seemingly impregnable cliffs. In the darkness, they really thought they've got it made this time, unfortunately. They began their ascent, moving with an agonizing slowness, meaning they're going to be extremely quiet, to avoid dislodging rocks or making any noise. Their bare feet found purchase on narrow ledges as they climbed ever higher. The gods, exhausted and dulled by the monotony, of their watch, heard nothing. Yeah, they probably were kind of snoozing a little bit. But the geese of Juno were not easily deceived. And this is how we love and respect our animals. As the first Gallic warrior pulled himself over the edge of the cliff, his movement caught the geese's attention. Now, the normally placid birds began to honk and flap their wings in alarm. Their raucous cries shattered the night's silence. Marcus Manilius jolted awake at the commotion. Years of military training had taught him to react to any disturbance, and the angry calls of the geese triggered his warrior's instincts. He grabbed his sword and shield, not even taking time to don his armor. He ran toward the sound. He arrived just as the Gaul was helping a second Gaul over the cliff's edge. Without hesitation, Manilius slammed his shield into the climbing warrior, sending him tumbling back down the cliff face. The crash scream alerted the rest of the garrison, and soon the entire defense force was mobilized. The Gauls' element of success was, or surprise, I should say, was lost. They would have been able to, without the geese. And, do we ever have to sit here and go, animals are great? No, we don't, because they are. But they alerted the Romans that somebody was trying to sneak into their camp. Those few who had made it up the cliff were quickly dispatched, while those still climbing were forced to retreat or were knocked from their precarious position by rocks and spears thrown from above. And as we know in military history, like I'm an authority on this, but he who has the highest point certainly has an advantage over those that are trying to get up to that point. What could have been the fall of Rome, I want you to see the significance of this. The fall of Rome became instead a tale of salvation, all thanks to a flock of vigilant geese. In the aftermath, the geese of Juno were hailed as saviors of Rome. And again, this is not a story I made up. This is accurate. Maybe the pictures aren't from that time exactly, but the neatest thing with what you can do with presentations is you can how would you say, mimic anything that will help tell the story. So now you can see the geese are being honored with a special ceremony carried through the streets on soft pillows. I know they're probably saying, gee, I just made some noise and look where I am. I'm heroes. That's okay. They were and are. The episode became known as one of Rome's most celebrated stories, teaching future generations that salvation could come from the most unexpected sources. And that's even true today. But anyway, from that day forward, the sacred geese of Capitoline were treated with even greater reverence. Their upkeep was guaranteed by state treasury, and their descendants would continue to waddle through the temple grounds for generations to come, honored ancestors of the birds who had saved Rome in its darkest hour. And the neatest thing, throughout history, and I do enjoy history, so that's why it's so much fun, and I learn new things also, to highlight animals from either current, not so current, and of course centuries ago, were there to help humans. So the reverse of that should be where the humans take care of the people, animals, etc., that have taken such good care of them. I hope you enjoyed this. I love history, and again, I like it where I can kind of incorporate a interesting story, a true story of some ancient Roman action that was personified by animals being involved. And, if you sit here and go, oh, boy, I don't think I'm going to have a lot to in presentations for the future. No, it's great because history is just, has multiple good stories that have it where our animals have done such a good job, and it makes it where we feel we're blessed then, later than then, and then now. So thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you. And I guess you might say, yeah, I did some work over the weekend, but we're looking forward to a great 2025. I appreciate you helping me with my future success. And may you all have also a very, very good year. Be safe. And thank you so much again for letting me do this for you.